Since its debut in 1964, Gomer Pyle, USMC has become a beloved classic, providing audiences with humor and heart through the character of Gomer Pyle, played by Jim Nabors. However, behind the scenes, the lives of the cast members have not always mirrored the light-hearted nature of the show. As we reflect on the impact of this iconic series, we must also acknowledge the real-life tragedies and struggles that have unfolded for the actors over the years. Now, over 61 years since the show first aired, many of these talented individuals have experienced profound challenges, personal losses, health issues, and emotional battles. While the series brought them fame, it also led to an unrelenting public life, which hasn't been without its hardships. In this video, we'll explore the personal journeys of the Gomer Pyle cast, shedding light on the real-life pain and heartache they have faced since their time on the beloved show. Jim Nabors took on the role of Private Gomer Pyle in the television series Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964 at the age of 34. In this role, he portrayed an innocent, lovable Marine who was always honest but often disappointed his superiors. Despite his naivety and good nature, Gomer Pyle won the hearts of audiences. Although he gained public admiration, Nabors struggled with being typecast as a slow, kind man, which prevented Hollywood from seeing him beyond that mold. Besides acting, he also had a music career with some success. However, Nabors' biggest struggle was his personal battle to hide his sexual orientation for fear that it would end his career. Though he eventually married his longtime partner, Stan Cadwallader, in 2013, the years of isolation left lasting consequences. His health significantly declined in the 1990s, when he had to undergo a liver transplant due to hepatitis B, which weakened him further. In his later years, Nabors withdrew from the public eye, and his once powerful singing voice became a mere whisper. He passed away on November 30, 2017, at the age of 87, in solitude at his home in Honolulu. Despite stepping away from the spotlight, his legacy lives on through his portrayal of Gomer Pyle, a character that both shaped and limited his career. Ronnie Schell joined the cast of Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964, at the age of 33, playing Duke, Gomer's witty and humorous best friend. With his sharp comedic talent, Schell quickly became a beloved character in the series, but despite his popularity, he never achieved a breakthrough into mainstream fame. He spent much of his career in supporting roles on television, stand-up comedy, and voice acting, but never rose to the heights many of his co-stars reached. Unlike other cast members who faced dramatic downfalls, Schell faded from Hollywood's memory and never gained the prominence he had hoped for. His personal life remained a mystery. There is no information about a marriage or children, leading many to speculate that he spent much of his later years in solitude. By 2025, at 93 years old, Schell remains absent from the public eye, and his name is only remembered by fans of classic television. The industry he once was a part of is no longer the same, but the memory of his role as Duke lives on in the hearts of those who loved his performance. Frank Sutton first appeared as Sergeant Vince Carter in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964 at the age of 41. With his loud, tough, and sometimes abrasive portrayal of a Marine drill instructor, Sutton brought to life a character with a cold exterior that concealed a softer side toward Gomer, whom he always treated with hostility. Although Sutton's performance was praised, he grew increasingly frustrated with the industry for not giving him the opportunity to showcase more complex roles, leaving him trapped in the shadow of Sergeant Carter. Despite maintaining a family life with his wife Toby Igler, the struggles in his career weighed heavily on his mood, leading to periods of frustration and discouragement. He continued working in television and theater, hoping for a chance to shift his career trajectory. Sadly, this dream was never realized. On June 28, 1974, while preparing for a performance in Louisiana, Sutton suffered a severe heart attack and passed away instantly at the age of 50. His sudden death not only ended his dreams of a larger career, but also left a profound sorrow for his family and fans, who faced the premature loss of an untapped talent. Roy Stewart played Sergeant Boyle on Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1965 at the age of 38. Boyle was an enthusiastic, kind-hearted Marine who often found himself caught between the strict Sergeant Carter and the innocent Gomer Pyle. While this role brought Roy some recognition, his career didn't significantly develop afterward. After Gomer Pyle ended, Roy struggled to find meaningful and significant roles, causing him to fade into obscurity in the entertainment industry. His personal life was also fraught with challenges. His marriage ended in a painful divorce, and he had no children, facing life's difficulties alone. Financial struggles and the pressures of aging took a toll on him, and Roy spent much of his later years in darkness and solitude. In his final years, Roy battled cancer. Despite his efforts to fight, he passed away on December 25, 2005, at the age of 78. Roy Stewart's life ended in sadness, far from the optimistic and cheerful character of Sergeant Boyle he had portrayed on screen. Nonetheless, his legacy lives on in the hearts of the audiences who loved his portrayal. Barbara Stewart began playing Bunny in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964 at the age of 34. Bunny was a lively, charming character with quick wit, bringing light-hearted moments to the show. However, Barbara's life off-screen was very different. She married her co-star Roy Stewart from Gomer Pyle, but their marriage ended in a bitter divorce. Despite her talent and popularity, Barbara faced numerous emotional struggles and battled depression for much of her life. Her second marriage also ended in divorce, and she had to deal with financial difficulties along with a sense of unfulfillment in her personal life. Though a beloved character on screen, Barbara's real-life struggles were weighed down by loneliness and despair. These difficulties made her later years bleak, despite what appeared to be a successful career. Barbara Stewart passed away on May 15, 2011, at the age of 81, after enduring a life full of challenges she never truly escaped. Her legacy, though bright on screen, cannot overshadow the pain she faced in real life. Forrest Compton began playing Colonel Edward Gray in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964 at the age of 39. Colonel Gray was a tough but fair commanding officer who brought order and discipline to the chaos of the Marine base, making Compton's role a reliable model. Though Forrest's career was respected and successful, his personal life was filled with turbulence. His marriage to actress June Carter encountered many difficulties, with repeated separations and increasing emotional distance, despite their having 2 children together. The broken relationship forced Forrest to confront the collapse of his family. His life afterward was also challenging, as he faced financial and health issues as he aged. These struggles weighed heavily on him, but he persevered through each day. Forrest passed away on April 4, 2020, at the age of 94, due to complications related to COVID-19. His final years were marked by quiet battles he had to fight, overshadowed by the personal chaos he seemed never to fully overcome. However, his legacy lives on in his performances and in the memories of those who loved him on screen. Ted Bessel played Frankie in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1965 at the age of 30, portraying a mischievous and charming Marine whose playful antics provided much-needed comedic relief for the show. Though his role in the series was beloved, Bessel's career after Gomer Pyle did not achieve sustained success. While he worked steadily in television, including directing episodes of The Tracy Ullman Show, he was never able to recapture the level of recognition he had as Frankie. His personal life was also tumultuous. His first marriage to Linnell Nobori ended in divorce, and while his second marriage was solid, it still couldn't overshadow the disappointments in his career. Ted Bessel struggled with unfulfilled dreams, and his health began to deteriorate over time. He passed away on October 6, 1996, at the age of 61, from an aortic aneurysm. His death marked a tragic end to a career that never reached its full potential, leaving behind a legacy of promises unfulfilled and a career full of regret. William Christopher played Lester Hummel in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1965 at the age of 33, portraying a gentle, empathetic Marine who was always loyal to his comrades, making his character a beloved model. However, off-screen, Christopher's life wasn't easy. His role as Father Mulcahy in MASH * brought him greater recognition, but his career still struggled to secure stable work, and he often took roles out of financial necessity rather than passion. His personal life was also filled with challenges, especially when his son was diagnosed with autism. Christopher and his wife, Barbara O'Connor, dedicated themselves to caring for their son, which placed a heavy emotional and financial burden on their family. Although he loved his family and cherished his on-screen roles, Christopher's final years were marked by health struggles. He passed away on December 31, 2016, at the age of 84, from cancer. His death marked the end of a quiet career, overshadowed by the personal sacrifices he made for his family, leaving a legacy of patience and love both on screen and in real life. Alan Melvin played Sergeant Charlie Hacker, a tough but humorous commanding officer on Gomer Pyle, USMC starting in 1965 at the age of 42. Although his role was memorable, Melvin's career wasn't highly regarded, and he struggled with missed opportunities. Though he voiced iconic characters like Magilla Gorilla and appeared on famous shows like The Brady Bunch, Melvin never achieved the leading man status he had hoped for. His marriage to Amalia Melvin was strong but also faced its own set of challenges, and the couple never had children. Despite his undeniable talent, Melvin's career faded as others rose to prominence, and over time, he found himself retreating into the background of Hollywood. His health deteriorated due to cancer, and on January 17, 2008, he passed away at the age of 84. Alan Melvin's life ended quietly, his legacy largely forgotten by the public, serving as a reminder of the difficult nature of the entertainment industry, where talent is often unrecognized until it is too. Elizabeth McCrae played Lewin Povey in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1966 when she was 30 years old, portraying a sweet, supportive girlfriend to Gomer with the charm and kindness characteristic of the South. The role of Lou Anne provided viewers with a glimpse of a warm life, but Elizabeth's real-life story was far more complicated. She was married twice, but both marriages ended in heartache and turmoil. Her first marriage ended in a bitter divorce, while her second, though initially full of hope, was heavily impacted by emotional issues. Despite having 2 children, Elizabeth struggled to maintain family harmony, and her personal life was overshadowed by loneliness and sadness. Her career after Gomer Pyle never reached the heights it once had, and she faced financial difficulties, leading to depression. Elizabeth McCrae passed away on May 27, 2024, at the age of 88 due to complications related to heart failure and prolonged depression, with few family members by her side in her final moments. Her life is a testament to the ongoing challenges she faced, despite the sweet and hopeful moments in her career and life. Buck Young, who played Sergeant Whipple in Gomer Pyle, USMC starting in 1964, created the image of a disciplined, stern soldier, a complete contrast to Gomer's carefree, naive nature. However, Buck's real-life circumstances were not like the character he portrayed. His first marriage ended in a painful divorce, and his second marriage faced many difficulties due to his wife's illness, which put a strain on their relationship. When his acting career began to wane after Gomer Pyle ended, Buck struggled to find stable roles, and his financial situation was severely affected. His health declined due to a series of strokes and heart disease, causing him to become increasingly isolated. His later years were bleak as he lived alone, with few close friends or family around. Buck passed away on February 4, 2000, at the age of 78 due to health complications, marking the end of a life filled with hardships and loneliness, in stark contrast to the strong persona he had built on screen. Larry Hovis began playing the character Larry in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964 when he was 28 years old, as a fellow Marine and often featured in humorous situations with Gomer. While he brought joy to viewers, Hovis's real life was full of struggles. After Gomer Pyle ended, his acting career stagnated, and Hovis struggled to find stable work. His personal life was also filled with challenges, including 2 failed marriages, which caused him great emotional pain. Additionally, serious health issues, including a diagnosis of esophageal cancer, led Hovis into a long and difficult battle with illness. His cancer spread quickly, leaving him with little time for treatment. His health deteriorated rapidly, and on September 9, 2003, he passed away at the age of 67, in isolation and suffering the ravages of disease. His death went largely unnoticed by the public, adding to the tragedy of his life, a life full of unrealized potential. Mark Slade, who played Eddie in Gomer Pyle, USMC starting in 1964, portrayed a bright, optimistic young Marine full of enthusiasm and energy. However, Mark's real-life story was the complete opposite of the character he portrayed. Despite a promising start in acting, Mark faced serious personal struggles, including the breakdown of his first marriage due to emotional distance and his battle with depression. These difficulties deeply affected his personal life, and he had no children to carry on his legacy. While his career brought brief moments of brightness, his personal life was filled with loneliness and disappointment. Now, at 85, Mark lives quietly, having faced many personal tragedies that he rarely shares. The unresolved pain and unfulfilled dreams continue to haunt him, making his off-screen life darker and more uncertain than ever. Allison McKay, who played the waitress in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1965, brought a kind, welcoming character who often created warm moments in the show. However, her real-life story was full of hardship. Despite being charming and attractive on screen, Allison's personal life was a series of challenges and misfortunes. Her marriage to a fellow actor ended in divorce after many years of infidelity and emotional tension. Despite having one child together, she struggled to raise her child alone while her acting career after Gomer Pyle became unstable, with few roles and financial uncertainty. With the wounds from her failed marriage and lack of meaningful work, Allison faced severe depression, making her life even more difficult. Now, at 88, she lives in isolation, never having found the peace or stability she had hoped for in her youth. The lack of fulfillment in both her career and personal life led her to endure many tough years, although the warm moments she brought to the screen still live on in viewers' memories. Ken Lynch, who portrayed the FBI man in Gomer Pyle, USMC from 1965, established a strong, serious image that brought an air of authority to each scene. However, Lynch's career was a long journey of challenges that was never fully recognized. While his acting in Gomer Pyle and other series was well regarded, he was often typecast in supporting roles, lacking the opportunities to shine in leading parts. His personal life was not easy either, as he faced difficulties in an unstable marriage and the pain of losing a child at a young age, losses that left a deep mark on his life. By the late 1980s, Lynch's health began to decline, alongside his career and financial struggles. Despite his undeniable contributions to television, he quietly passed away on February 13, 1990, at the age of 79. His death was seen as a sad end to a long career that was never fully acknowledged, a quiet existence in an industry he had dedicated his life to. Tom Hatton, who played Captain Murdoch in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964, created a strong image of an authoritative commanding officer throughout the show. However, off-screen, Hatton's career did not progress as many had hoped. Despite being a versatile actor, he never truly had a major breakthrough in the Hollywood industry, with many of his roles overshadowed by the stars of the time. His personal life also reflected instability in his career, with 2 unsatisfying marriages. His first marriage ended in divorce, and although his second wife, Arlene, stayed by his side, they too faced difficulties in a seemingly stagnant relationship. Hatton's financial situation was also volatile, as he frequently struggled with job instability. However, the most painful challenge for him was his battle with depression, a condition he faced for many years, possibly a result of the difficulties within the entertainment industry. Ultimately, Tom Hatton passed away on March 16, 2019, at the age of 92. His death was believed to be from natural causes, marking the end of a life full of struggles that were never fully recognized either in his career or personal life. Robert Buckingham played the mailman in Gomer Pyle, USMC starting in 1965, a simple yet important character who delivered mail to the Marines, adding moments of realism to the military life depicted in the show. Though he appeared in several different television programs, Buckingham's career was mainly tied to supporting roles, and he never gained the fame of his fellow Gomer Pyle co-stars. His real-life story was also full of challenges, with a failed first marriage and subsequent divorce. His second marriage to actress Gloria was also difficult, as they faced health issues with their 2 children. As he grew older, Buckingham continued to struggle with a painful twist in his life when he was diagnosed with a rare disease, which led him to become increasingly distant from the acting community. Now, at 90 in 2025, Buckingham lives a quiet life, far from the spotlight of his past acting career. Though he had a small but meaningful role in Gomer Pyle, his life has reflected the many hardships and pains that few people knew about. Herbie Faye, who played Harry in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1966, brought humor and charm to the show, standing out with his wit and ability to bring light moments to tense situations. Although his role brought joy to audiences, Herbie's real life was filled with struggles. Despite appearing in many TV shows and films, his career never reached the heights he hoped for, leaving him with a sense of frustration and untapped potential. His personal life also faced difficulties, with a tense marriage that ended in divorce. His relationship with his children became strained over time, and in his later years, he became more reclusive, dealing with declining health and heart issues. Herbie passed away on June 28, 1980, at the age of 81, from heart failure. His death marked a tragic end to a life that once held promise but was overshadowed by personal loss and loneliness, elements that shaped his final years. Peter Hansen, who played Colonel Van Pelt in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1964 at the age of 43, portrayed a stern and authoritative officer, always adhering to military rules with a strong leadership style. Although his role contributed to maintaining order on the show, Peter's real life was far from the stability of the character he portrayed. He went through 2 failed marriages and a strained relationship with his children, making his personal life challenging. Despite a solid career in television, Peter often felt overshadowed by his more prominent co-stars, and his roles after Gomer Pyle did not achieve the success he had hoped for. Career disappointments, along with emotional tension from family matters, led him to feel increasingly isolated in his later years. Peter passed away on April 9, 2017, at the age of 95, living his final years quietly with little recognition, carrying a sense of regret about a long and tumultuous life. His passing serves as a reminder of a career filled with authority, but also regret, both on screen and in real life. Herb Vigran, who played the waiter in Gomer Pyle USMC, joined the show in 1966 at the age of 56. As a talented supporting actor, Vigran often took on comedic and likable roles, bringing charm and warmth to the screen. His portrayal of the waiter, always smiling and approachable, was a beloved supporting character that provided light and soothing moments in the show. However, Vigran's real life was full of turmoil and upheaval. His first marriage ended in a painful divorce after many years of struggle, and his second marriage did not last long when his wife passed away from illness, leaving him in deep sorrow. These losses and grief affected Vigran's career, making him feel sidelined in the acting industry. His later years were also filled with challenges as he faced financial difficulties and deteriorating health. Vigran spent much of his final years in isolation but remained resilient until his death on November 29, 1986, at the age of 76. His death marked the end of a life filled with hardship, yet he is remembered as an actor with talent and warmth in every role he played. Paul Breyer, who portrayed the bartender in Gomer Pyle USMC, began his acting career in 1966 at the age of 56. His character, a friendly and approachable bartender, always listened and provided comfort to the Marines at the local bar. Although he played a character that created warm and relaxing moments amid the stresses of military life, Paul's real life was far from peaceful. His career, while steady, never achieved the major success he had hoped for. His personal life was also full of difficulties, as he went through a troubled marriage that eventually ended in divorce. His relationship with his children became strained, making him feel increasingly lonely and disconnected. As his health declined, life became even more challenging, and he passed away on August 30, 1985, at the age of 75. Paul Breyer's death marked the end of a life filled with silent suffering, missed opportunities, and final years spent in solitude and sorrow that could never be shared. John Lupton, who played Captain Edwards in Gomer Pyle USMC, joined the show in 1964 at the age of 36, portraying a strong, reliable, and authoritative military figure. Captain Edwards often served as the voice of reason on the show, countering the antics of the main characters and bringing stability and order. However, in real life, Lupton's journey was fraught with difficulties. His marriage to actress Jean ended in divorce due to infidelity and prolonged emotional strain, leading to a painful separation. Later, his relationship with his son Timothy became strained, particularly as he struggled with his son's health issues. Lupton's promising career began to stagnate in the 1970s when personal issues, particularly his battle with alcohol, began to severely impact both his work and family life. Financial hardships led Lupton to spend his later years in isolation and difficulty. He passed away alone on November 3, 1993, at the age of 65, marking the tragic end of a life filled with potential but never achieving the peace he longed for. Jackie Joseph, who played the vibrant Marilyn in Gomer Pyle USMC in 1965, made a strong impression on viewers with her alluring appearance and bright personality, bringing a fresh energy to the show. Her character, Marilyn, was more captivating and interesting, but Jackie's real life was filled with pain and loss. Her first marriage ended quickly in a divorce after many struggles. Her second marriage was even more tragic when her beloved husband passed away suddenly, leaving her devastated. The grief deepened when her son, Stephen, died in a horrific car accident in the 1990s. This loss emotionally shattered her, and she could not cope with the continuous tragedies. Jackie withdrew from the public eye, living in solitude and unhealed sorrow. Although she occasionally took on small roles, her career never reached the heights that many had expected. As of 2025, at the age of 91, Jackie lives in the shadows of her personal tragedies, carrying wounds that have never healed. Yvonne Lime, who played Sergeant Peters in Gomer Pyle USMC in 1964, created an image of a dedicated and professional Marine, loved by the audience for her strong character and work ethic. However, her life off-screen was filled with hardships and pain. After joining the show, Yvonne went through 2 marriages, both ending in failure. Her first marriage to a fellow actor ended after years of neglect and emotional distance, and her second marriage did not last long, affected by misunderstandings and a lack of mutual support. Despite being the mother of 2 children, Yvonne's family life was always unstable. Her acting career, once promising, began to decline as she faced personal pain and isolation. In later years, when acting opportunities became scarce, her mental health deteriorated, and she lived most of her final years in seclusion. By 2025, at the age of 89, she has distanced herself from the glamour of showbiz, living a quiet life far from the spotlight she once shared with her Gomer Pyle co-stars. Arthur Battenides, who played Bronson in Gomer Pyle, USMC in 1965, portrayed a tough, resilient Marine who was always ready to face any challenge. In action scenes, Bronson embodied quick recovery and physical strength. However, Battenides' life off-screen was not as easy as the character he portrayed. His first marriage faced emotional turbulence and ended in a painful divorce, despite having 2 children. While he found some comfort in his second marriage, his relationship began to deteriorate as his acting career dwindled, and financial issues further exacerbated the situation. The tensions in both his personal and professional life pushed him into deep depression. Although he made notable contributions to film and television, Arthur passed away on January 10, 2000, at the age of 76, in isolation and loneliness due to complications from heart disease. His life is a testament to facing hardships and challenges, even though he always appeared to be the picture of strength. How do you feel knowing that some of the actors from Gomer Pyle, USMC have passed away? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, remember to like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell to catch our latest videos.